Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about a kind of an interesting topic because this is a set of phrase, I guess, that only shows up below plat. I guess below diamond. So if you ever say, don't focus the tank or focus the healer, or you see that being said, 99% of the time, it's not going to be said in Masters or Grandmasters. Many of the reasons why is because Masters and Grandmasters understand that tanks usually don't have that much more armor than most of the assassins that you see. And, for example, in this game, if you try to dive a Morales, she can just put armor on herself, back up into tower range, and the Muradin can just peel off of her, and the Zarya can peel off of her. So, trying to kill this Morales this game is going to be nearly impossible until everything else is already used up. So if you try to dive in, it's just going to fail. So instead, I want to show you guys that, especially when you're watching any sort of pro play or high masters gameplay, you'll notice that people will use, especially sustained damage dealers, will attack whoever is the safest to attack. Greymains, a lot of people have the Greymain syndrome of, hey, I need to jump in and kill someone in their backline really, really quick. But in reality, Greymain has such a high amount of sustained damage because he can use Inner Beast, increases attack speed by 50%, and constantly be applying so much attack damage pressure the entire game that it doesn't, you don't ever really need to jump in their backline because no healer can keep up with the amount of sustained damage that he's doing. Which means it's almost better to just sit there and deal damage. And I really wanted to show this fight in particular because this shows a team that's holding back their abilities, not wanting to attack a tank, versus a team that's just like, okay, let's just attack tanks. And you can see right in the early game, you have someone who's constantly attacking. I'm constantly attacking their tanks, right? Dealing damage. And look, I'm pressuring that this Muradin does not want to stay in this fight because he is getting torn to shreds. So then Muradin's like, okay, I gotta attack the person who's dealing damage, and then he's still like, oh, I'm half health, I'm gone. And then I go back in and I keep attacking. Do you want to see something that's kind of funny about this fight? Is right as this fight's about over, I jump in, I get out, and look who peels. The tank is peeling, so even when they try to attack the assassin, I get immediately peeled off. Now let's talk about this fight for a second. Let's go to the numbers. So, firstly, I've done 3,500 damage. We've had a Medivh who's done 2,080 damage versus Zavala who's done 2,000 damage. Let's look at the damage tanked for a second. Artanis has already tanked 3,700 damage. Muradin's already tanked 2,800 damage. Zarya's already tanked 1,400 damage. Look at our tank. Our tanks barely had to tank a thing because they were waiting way too long, attacking everyone but the tank, and they never got an opportunity to attack anyone but the tank. So now they're all going to have to go back and hit fountains. Look at the healing done. Morales has had to use all of her energy trying to keep everyone alive, and she's already had to back. Our Ana barely has to use any mana at all, which means that me attacking that didn't cost me any mana because I mean, I don't have any ammo, you know what I mean? Like ammo, I have infinite ammo, I guess is the better way to say it. So I'm attacking the tank consistently and forcing them all to go back, hit fountains, and our Ana can stay at a high, healthy mana cost. We don't need to worry about anything else. Sustained damage or dealing damage to the safest target is one of the most important things that all sustained damage dealers need to know. This means that mages don't need to go into their backline because likely a good team is going to peel you off of their backline before you can get a kill. The majority of the times when I see someone saying, don't focus tanks or focus Morales or focus the healers, are people who, one, tend to be a little bit lower rank. Two, tend to be playing heroes that can dive in. So let's say, for instance, they're playing Zeratul, and they jump in and they get Morales down to 20% health, and then they die. Then they're going to type in chat and say, I got Morales to 20% health, stop focusing the tanks, focus on the healers. But in reality, what happened is exactly what was supposed to happen to someone who dives in against a team that can peel. Is the team saw Zeratul come in, they CC'd him, they put shields and whatever else they needed on their healer, and they kept their healer alive, and they peeled off someone and then killed him. And now they immediately made the fight an uneven fight, so now they can win the fight. And that's really what it comes down to, is that a good team is going to peel off a single diver every single time. Now, if your entire team's a dive comp, then I would say yes, focusing the tank's probably bad, because your strength is that you can all dive in and take someone out very quickly. If your whole team's not a dive comp, if one person dives in, you're going to split the damage too much. However, if that person just stayed on the tank, like every other person who can safely deal damage, their tank would have to back up, and then it would make it to where it's a lot easier for your team to step up and actually kill the healer. So we can go back through this game, and I can keep showing more aspects of this, but it's kind of funny to me that when people say don't focus the tank, it's usually in low ranks, and if anyone ever says it in a Grandmaster game, it's usually followed up by an LOL. People usually just laugh at it, and I'm not telling anyone in this who's watching this video to laugh at someone who says don't focus the tank, because it's a learning opportunity. The reason why is you could have people that are high rank using this mentality. They might have come from League of Legends, where tanks could have up to 80% damage reduction. In this game, tanks don't really have that much damage reduction. A Murden has to use his jump to get armor, and his jump's his only escape. So if he uses his jump, it's okay to throw stuff at him because he doesn't have an escape anymore. ETC, he only gets his armor from sliding in. So many heroes. Diablo only gets his armor from smacking into people into walls. All of these times, people are only getting their armor at the worst times. Sure, there's people like Mal'Ganis who can have armor a lot more often by every time he uses his W, but generally, the most armor a tank's gonna be able to give themselves is 25, and it's usually not at the best opportune moments for them. So, in general, it's pretty okay to just simply attack tanks. It's not usually an issue. And that's really what I wanted to share with people, is the big thing, number one, you want to be attacking who's safe for you to attack. Number two, and it needs to be consistent. You need to be constantly doing damage. Even in this fight right here, I realized that I can't dive into the Morales because it's easy for her to just shield herself and back up into tower range. Right here, so I just attack him. I'm like, I'm just going to try to get rid of Morales' energy here. Morales is in a safe position for me to attack. However, again, I don't have enough damage to kill her before she walks under the towers, and I don't want to take unnecessary damage because I know I can do more sustained damage to this Murden than either of them can do to us, which means that Morales is going to run out of energy before our Ana runs out of mana, giving us the opportunity to really take out this Murden without really using anything. So the number one rule to this is you should be attacking whoever's safe to attack first. If there's multiple targets to attack that are safe, you should be attacking whoever your team is attacking so you have a higher chance of killing them. Finally, your big thing that you can do is there are opportunities when you can really take some risks and jump in, but it has to be game-changing. It has to be things that, let's say you are losing fights in the regular method, then yes, you might need to make a call to do something crazy. But again, if the enemies have any sort of peel, like a Zarya who can just shield their healer, or just high CC tanks or off tanks, there's no way you're going to be able to kill that person while their whole team's ready. So you may need to take risks, but you might need to do it differently than you think. If you saw that fight, once again, I focused the tank the entire time, and we pushed them completely out of lane, killed their tank, and it was perfectly fine. Sorry for the visual bug that says that everyone's dead up here when they're actually not. Either way, thank you all for watching. Hopefully this taught you that it's best to just get consistent damage off of whoever's in front of you, rather than saying let's not attack the tanks, because as you've seen this game, it's a lot easier for me to stay way over everyone else's damage because I'm constantly attacking whoever is in front of me. It allows the enemy to use up all their mana and energy trying to keep their people alive, while we can keep our mana and energy on our supports for more crazy fights. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to check out my other videos.